Hello everybody, my name's Llama Joe and welcome to my channel. Alright, we are back with The Letter, and we are now finally on Luke's story. That is also forever long. Why? Why? I hate him. I hate him as a person. Why do I have to be him for forever? To say that I'm scared of what's happening is a gross understatement. Trouble of any sort is the last thing I want to get home after a long day at work and a trip to the bar. And when I see Hannah near prostrate, I can only feel dread. She twitches and sees his body wound and coiled tight before thrashing, shuddering, and shaking. Like a woman possessed, her mouth falls open and her eyes roll to the back of her head. It has the hallmark signs of a seizure. The symptoms are similar enough, and that knowledge, the fact that I know this only makes me feel worse. Okay, so we're starting here. Okay. But to hold her close is all I can do while she thrashes about. I know this is wrong, that I'm supposed to hold her down, yet I do it out of instinct, reflex even. I'm terrified of hurting her, but I see no other way to keep Hannah from hurting herself. It takes a lot to keep myself from running off and to get help when she needs me here, and it takes everything I have to keep myself intact. When she says my name, I realize that the seizures have stopped, but that doesn't make the dread go away.
Please.
What happened here? Who did this to you?
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
The sight of her tear-streaked face is enough to twist the knife in. It does not help that I'm as lost as she is right now, and all I can say is...
It's all right. You're safe now, Hannah. You're safe now.
I must have sat there in the kitchen, cradling Hannah in my arms for an eternity, until Johans and a maid ran in, assuming the worst. She had been screaming enough to attract the attention of anyone on mansion property, but that's all well and good in the end, I suppose, as they helped carry Hannah up to her bedroom. I doubt I could have managed on my own. I might have slipped down the stairs and cracked both her heads if I tried. Both Johans and the maid does the short work of making her comfortable while I sit on the sidelines. I have no idea how long I remained there, just watching them and her. But at some point after they've left us, the sun has set, leaving the room dark and silent. Nestled in all the pillows and blankets and put on her side, though, Hannah looks smaller than ever. She looks so weak and vulnerable that I can't help but worry. Not to mention the children. Think about the children. I wouldn't know how such an event could affect babies in the womb. Now seems like a good time to get drunk as any, but I just can't. I can't bring myself to leave her side just to intoxicate myself, not with what just happened. I might just drink myself to death if I so much as tried.
Please. Stay with me, darling.
Of course. Anything for you, sunshine.
There's no way I can leave her side without feeling guilty. Besides, what sort of husband and father would I be if I don't take care of her when she's sick? Not that I'm too confident about what I can do on my own. I'm not trained for this sort of thing. Even if I've experienced similar scenarios before, I might still have it all wrong. I've already called up a personal physician along with the obstetrician who knew of her pregnancy for a house call in the morning. We'll have to go on from there. I don't like to think about it, but I can still remember the doctor's instructions on how to take care of my mother while she was ill. Provide a safe space for her to rest. Check. Let her lie on the side so that she doesn't choke. Check. Loosen tight clothing to let her breathe. Check. Keep calm and don't panic. I'm having a bit of trouble with that one, aren't I?
Do you want any water? Something to nibble on, perhaps? I can call for something to be brought up. Soup would be good, right?
I'm fine, Luke. Don't you worry. I'm just a little sick, but I'll get better.
A pain look crosses her face, and more than anything, I wish I could take away the pain she feels now. When she beckons me to come closer to hold her in my arms, who am I to say no? Her body still quivers, tiny shakes that make my heart feel like it's going to stop and give every time they happen too much. I can't take care to give her room to breathe, no matter how much of an uncomfortable position it puts me in. Her scent is enough to bring me at ease. Golden flowers, marigolds, buttercups, and daffodils. I'm not sure if she smells this way because I surround us with them when I can, or because she's wearing the perfume I gave her last Christmas.
There we go. Now, are we comfy?
She nods her head weakly, and a smile barely making its way on her lips. I'd be ready to fulfill any request she has, anything to make this easier for her. Anything to make her happy. But when she next speaks, I can feel my breath catch in my throat.
Sing me a lullaby.
A lullaby? Of course. I can do that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I know I've done so many things in my lifetime that would justify a horrible end. But not Hannah. She doesn't deserve this. This is all far too horribly familiar. To find myself in bed, clutching reverently to an ill-beloved, wishing it isn't real and hoping it doesn't get any worse. I found myself screaming at a god I've long abandoned and forgotten. Not her. Not again. Take her and you will bloody rue. To have a lullaby shared so that we can forget the pain and the fear.
Hush, my darling, don't say a word. I'm gonna catch you a mockingbird.
I can hear her breathy laugh, though she doesn't tell me to stop. If this amuses her, then that's fine. But her breathing soon evens itself out, a good thing, too. Before I know it, she's fallen asleep. If only it were to be as easy for me. I certainly don't envy her, but I don't particularly like how my mind runs right now. Battered and frayed, clutching at straws and asking myself if I'll really let myself fall apart in this moment. It's alarming how just the thought of losing her could break me, pregnant or not.
And if that mockingbird...
Sorry, I don't want to hear him sing. If I've already lost my mother, the only other woman I've truly loved in my life, and without knowing them then is a young man that would have wounded a great part of me. I'm aware now of how scarred I am, for lack of a better term. And if anything ever happens to Hannah, well, I don't know what I'd do after that fact. Would the loss drive me insane? Would I become mad and swear bloody vengeance on a world that deserves less than her? Would I end up drowning in sorrow and guilt and end up drinking one night and figuring a bullet is a good way to go? Or perish the thought, would I become like my father, one who had no further love for anything, not others or even objects of self? The vainglorious mogul that worked and worked for the sake of succeeding in the search of happiness that would never come.
And if that diamond...
Nope, still skipping it. For a long while, there was that man. I was that man, wasn't I? Pursuing gold and glory and nothing else. Bloody hell, I even started courting Hannah for the money her family had. She was a mark to be attained. But she was just so bright. And I don't mean intelligent, though she is certainly that too. No, she was bright in a manner that she could bring such sunshine to anyone's dreary life. I thought I would need to put on a mask with her, just like with all the others. But if anything else, she made it feel constricting, suffocating that I pulled off the mask on my own. I had wanted to be myself around her, just as she was so willfully showing her real self to those around her. It wasn't some sudden realization, there was no eureka moment, it just happened.
And in those fields...
We would meet up and talk about business, but then, those could only last for so long, a few dozen dates. We ended up talking about other things, little things that didn't seem to matter so much, inconsequential things that one would end up forgetting in the grand scheme of things. Good food, good music, dogs, the film we just saw, books we've read while we were apart, and places we want to go. Things that weren't importantly suddenly are. It confused me so much, but I was happy. And at some point I told myself that this was the woman I wanted to spend my life with. Then I would forget that, a lot. It was out of some misguided need to be my own person, to not be defined by anyone else. I refused to put her on a pedestal to make her the center of my universe. Married or not, we were our own person at the end of the day. But I would forget too, at the very least, remember that she was there with me.
And if those daft...
She made me better, but I still am to an extent. Still the son of a bitch that has something to prove. I forget it again and again, no matter how hard I try. I'll spend extra hours at the office for something or another to have favorable stocks, to take care of a debt, something. Sometimes I'll even bring work home if I haven't gone to drink and destroy my liver. I'll flaunt the riches, some of which aren't even rightfully mine in the first place, and lord myself over everyone else because I fucking deserve it. Because that is how I prove myself. When I don't even have to prove myself to Hannah. Well, what a... Even when you're trying to be sweet, Luke, you're still a giant piece of shit. Good to know. Sometimes I wonder, had we met under different circumstances, had I grown up a different way, would all of this be any better? Would we be any
Good
happier?
night, my sunshine.
Now there's the thought. Okay. So October 29th, we're not too far away. After what seemed to be a seizure, Johannes found the couple in the kitchen and helped usher the weak woman to the master's bedroom. Luke elected to stay with Hannah today to care for her, singing of a lullaby until sleep came over them both. Mummy, what happened? You were wiggling and shaking, and you wouldn't stop, even if I was shouting. I'm so sorry I shouted at you, Mummy.
Shh, don't cry. My little ball of sunshine's not supposed to cry, is he? Don't you worry. Mummy is just a little sick, but she'll get better. I've got a new job now, and I can get medicine again, okay? And we'll buy some bread pudding, too, while we're at it.
Ooh, bread pudding, my favorite. Please don't do that again, Mummy. It's scary.
It's okay. I'm here. You've got nothing to fear. But you have to be brave too, Lucille.
Lucille?
Even when I'm not around. Be brave.
I choke back a scream and wake up in a cold sweat. With my heart pounding in my ears, it takes a while to remember where I am. In the dark and cold of the room, one can't fault me for feeling ill at ease. It isn't as bright as the penthouse, and the renovations did little to change how old it feels. We've been here for less than a week. It'll take a bit more time to adjust. It's hard to feel cozy, though, when I'm bloody freezing. Nudging the lump of fabric next to me, I sigh.
It's cold. Don't hug the sheets, Hannah.
She always did this, though. It hardly bothers me. Growing up, I was lucky to have something to use as a mattress. I'm not the one who grew up accustomed to Egyptian cotton with a thread count of 800. Besides, the warmth that Hannah exuded on her own is usually enough to keep me sleeping through the night. The temperature tonight must have been something else with how chilly it is right now. I must be considerate. After all, the poor dear is ill. Though I loathe to think about what had just transpired.
Don't make me pull those sheets off you. That blanket is large enough to cover an elephant. You'll need to share.
It takes a while.
What was that, honey? Apologies. I'm just in the loo, so if you can give me a moment.
Oh, the creepiness is already starting. Alright. There's no sign that they'll be moving where they lie. With care, I go for a knife hidden under the side of my bed. It'd be foolish for me to instigate anything while I'm unarmed, after all. To pull back the covers would be a more difficult affair, because reaching out to uncover who was underneath, I have to prepare for anything and assume the worst. If I so much as see the muzzle of a gun, there's going to be a murder tonight. I know they say not to bring a knife to a gunfight, but I think I could stick a blader's liver fastening and point and aim. I see the rise and fall of the sheets, though I could easily be mistaken as the fault of the breeze. I hear their breathing. A great sense of foreboding comes over me, making me hesitate with my plan. I should just get Hannah and myself out of here, not to look back, and let security handle it. That's what they're there for. And maybe I should just man up. There's no way I'm risking the chance that inaction will put Hannah in danger. But what's the worst that could happen, right? I've no reason to be afraid. There's no boogeyman under the bed, no monster in my closet. If anything, these things should be afraid of me, right? I grab a fistful of sheets and throw them aside. Nothing. Nothing but a bunch of pillows stare back at me. Must be my imagination. I'd rather not think I'm going mad. Already, a new article. That was quick. Luke woke up in the middle of the night with a scream and a cold sweat, finding comfort in the warm body next to his. He tried to get back to sleep and forget the images playing in his mind until Hannah called out from the loo. I could very well be the stress getting to me, all this drama with Hannah. I've been doing well all these years, all things considered. I guess I do have a breaking point. But still, the whole world goes on even if one cannot, and I must go along with it. I suppose a day off or two tomorrow wouldn't hurt. Rest aside from a few hours of sleep will be welcome, more than. But I can't shake off the unease. I dare say that I feel afraid, irrationally so. That something will come creeping and crawling from under the bed even as I lay back down and close my eyes. Okay, next day. Oh. Where are we at? Time. Yeah, I think that's been about 15 minutes or so. Close enough to it. It's a good place to stop. So, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. And I'll do the best I can to make it right. I'm Llama Joe, and I'll catch you guys later.